the BIA has hired them as our digital service squad. So most of you on today's call know who they are, and they've been working with the BIA since November with regards to the Digital Main Street grant, and now we're offering weekly marketing workshops, and they're here for you guys after today's call too. If you want to just shoot each of them an email if you've got questions or problems, they're here as digital coaches to help you with your business, and especially because it's the beginning of the year, to build that digital marketing strategy and strategize, you know, content and photography and so forth. So Jason, Anthony, I'm gonna hand it off to you today.
Thank you so much. I mean, we have a relatively small group with us today, with Larissa and Janelle. Katarina is with you guys at the BIA, right?
Sorry?
Is Katarina? Sorry, I don't Katarina.
Katarina is here. Katarina Finnegan is our. She's working with us through the Canada Jobs grant. It's technically a Canada Summer Jobs, but because of COVID, they extended the timeline. So yeah, Katarina is on, and she assists our marketing specialist, who's Alex Phillip, on all the social media posts that you see that go out through all of the different platforms.
Okay, excellent. Well, I mean, because it's such a small group, I mean, we can make this super interactive. So, I mean, Larissa or Amrit or Janelle, like if you have any questions about anything, or you want us to, you know, address anything in particular, by all means, let us know so that we can just kind of talk about it. It'd be a lot easier with such few people on. You know, if we had 10, 15 people, it might be a little more difficult to do that. So this could be a good opportunity for some of you. Otherwise, yeah, thank you for being here. Today's workshop, we wanted to talk about kind of social media and, you know, kind of the best practices around that, and, you know, how you can really implement it for your business. We met with a good number of businesses throughout the Digital Main Street program that weren't active on social media, didn't have a very large digital footprint. And so we wanted to make sure that we offered a workshop around this that could kind of address some of those issues and provide some insight for those who are a little unfamiliar with the technology and how to apply it to their business. So without further ado, Anthony, I don't know if you want to just jump right into the slideshow.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Jason. So if you guys could just confirm that you can see my screen right now.
Yes, you can.
Yep, I can see it.
Yes, awesome.
Yep.
Perfect. So as Jason said, this week's webinar is about an introduction to social media. This involves essentially everything about the interface and how to actually customize it to help your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, to really help your business move forward. And then next week's will be about the management of it, which is where we're going to actually implement and start to show you free programs that you can use to help streamline your social strategy a lot easier. And then following that, we'll be doing some SEO work and how to buy ad space. That one will be quite content heavy, and I really encourage you guys to go to that one, because that's how, if you're not sure on how to spend your grant money, that's where you're going to get the bulk of your information from. Afterwards, we'll be going on towards image and editing software to help really make that original content pop, as well as the next weeks would be project management software, where we talk about Trello and Asana. And then finally, we'll wrap it up with some email marketing services, MailChimp, which is going to help you start an email marketing strategy for you. Okay. So for this week, we're going to be going over choosing the right platform for your business, how to gauge that, and how to, where should you focus your time on. As you know, I know that all of you guys, your time is very valuable, and that's how we're going to kind of pinpoint where to put our focus towards. We're going to have social tutorials as well. There'll be demos of Facebook, like the interface, as well as certain customizational options, Instagram and LinkedIn as well. I'll also be going over some averages. So if you're not sure, how to set a SMART goal or where you want your benchmark to be, this is the most in textbook. This is the benchmark for the most generalized benchmark to start from. Okay. And then as well, next up, reporting. So how to kind of, I've done my strategy. I want to see if I'm on track to reach my goal. How do I go about doing that? How do I translate what I see on my social platforms into definitive results and numbers, and as well as some additional resources? So we'll just jump right into it.
I'm just gonna, sorry, Anthony, I'm
Yep.
gonna turn my camera off, Anthony. Just because I'm worried about bandwidth. I've got my 4 kids on their Zoom calls right now with the school, so I'm just gonna turn my camera off, but I'm here.
Sounds good. So when it comes to choosing the right platform, really you can't go wrong with having more social presence. So if you're wondering if I should start an Instagram account or set up this account, it doesn't hurt to start it. But the name of the game here is really you want quality content and quality social platforms rather than the quantity. So for example, if you're a BTC, you primarily want to prioritize Facebook and Instagram because a lot of your users are consumers who are scrolling through, and at the end of the day, you have to think of it from consumers' platform mentality, right? You want to present your business as a solution to a problem that they're trying to find. So if you are a shoe store and they're looking for new boots and they're scrolling through Instagram after, you want to be there to provide that solution for them. In some specific cases, if you're a gift shop or if you run certain spa products, you might want to also look into Pinterest, right? Because maybe some people want to do a lot of DIY projects, and you have a platform there to provide your own insight, your own talents, your own kind of original content of what you've made, and certain remedies. Specifically, if you're a BTB, you want to prioritize mainly Facebook and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great when it comes to connecting with people. You're able to surgically select who you want to connect with, who you want your where you want your ads to go. We'll go over it more in detail in next week's webinar, but you can even go up to where you surgically search up people's job titles. So if you want to target executives, you can do that as well, for example. And that's why LinkedIn is such a strong social tool when it comes to if you're a BTB. At the end of the day, though, these are just the base guidelines. You want to really identify where your target market is and focus your efforts there. So the Facebook Live tutorial, I'm just going to switch screens over real quick. So give me a second. Okay, so can you guys see the Facebook page?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is what your Facebook business account is going to look like. I'm sure if you guys have a Facebook account set up, you're very familiar with this interface. If you have a Facebook account set up, it's very easy. All you have to do is log into your Facebook account and create a business page, and then they'll provide you with a step-by-step as to what you need to include, and they'll give you like 15 things you need to put in before it's fully set up. So it includes like your cover photo, your profile picture, all of this kind of about us, right? They'll ask you to pin your location, a little bit about us, as well as contact info, and then all that kind of fun stuff. But once you have it all set up and you start posting, this is what this should look like. So one of the neat things about Facebook is you're able to customize your page that's very different. So right here in the Edit Book Now, there are a variety of different options that you can change it from. So if you want to, if you can click the Edit Book Now, you can go to the Edit button, and a pop-up will appear here. And from there, you can choose all of these wonderful little interfaces you can choose from that will help your business specifically. So if you want people, if your call to action is you want people to contact you right away rather than book an appointment, you have an option to do contact us here, receive messages on Messenger, or call now. So you can really streamline your initiatives that way. I think do we have a message there? I saw a notification pop up on our meeting.
Yes, so Janelle from PAMA has sent us a message saying, is there a way to create a Facebook page not through your personal one, or is that the only way?
So you don't need to create it through your personal one. What I've done before for another business when I was working full-time for a bigger company was I made a pseudo account. So you can just make a Facebook account that's just for joining to your Facebook page. It's just ease of access, because from where I've learned from there is that unless, like for me personally, I contact my friends and family through Facebook very often. And the problem with that, where you have another account attached to your business page, is that you might not be getting those messages from that account as frequently, because you can only hook up one Facebook account to your phone through the app, right? So that's just something to keep in mind of. It's more streamlined that way. But if you choose not to, you are perfectly, it's fair game. Nothing is going to affect your SEO. It's all good. Just make sure to check it regularly. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. I just have one other question, actually.
Mhm.
So right now it's set up where we have to log in from our personal accounts and add the business page to the
Mhm.
pages, whatever other pages we have already. So that's how we maintain the Facebook one. I don't know how it was set up before I came or anything like that, but is there a way to then take that business page, and we log in another way, like not through our personal ones? I'm not sure. Like, is there a way to separate it?
Yes, but it's by making another account. So like
Right.
you can make another account, and then what you do is through your personal, which is still hooked up to your business account, you make that other account admin or editor. And
Okay.
then there you can log into that pseudo account that you make up, and then that's just for that business account, and then you can do your business there.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. The only only thing you gotta watch out for is that, like I said before, you can only if you're not used to handling two different accounts, you might forget to check the messages on the account that's only for business, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have like 3 messages I haven't checked in like 3 weeks, right? But that's the only you gotta still watch out for. Otherwise, there's no effect on algorithm changes or how people will see you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
No worries. So you can edit that here on the button as well. There's also something called Facebook Suite or Business Suite here, so I can kind of go into that as well. And this is where you can really do a deep dive as to how you want to really personalize your business account. So you have all of your home here, which is all your updates from your Instagram, because as you guys know, Instagram and Facebook are under the same umbrella. This is where you can kind of manage all of your recent ads. So when you do start boosting your ad posts, all of this kind of falls into here, where it shows how much you spent, how much it cost you per link click, and how many you've reached. And from there, you can kind of compare all the ads that you spent, how that's been going so far. Let's see here. Yeah. So, and then from here as well, you can also create an ad. Let me go back. So yeah, this is a very content-heavy part here. Just keep in mind as well that to see your link, as you see here with an Instagram post here, you will only see this if your Instagram is linked to your Facebook. It's a very simple settings change, which you can go through in a bit. Under activities, we see here basically all the recent these are like your notifications for your business account. What people have done, what people have liked, all that kind of stuff. It's your notifications version for your personal account. So that's something you can look out for as well. Under your inbox, this is where all of your DMs come from. So if you have a call to action where it comes to, when it comes to just looking at, okay, so if I change my edit button to contact us or messenger, this is where it all comes down to, and this is where you kind of have to check if anyone has messaged you yet, and from there you can just kind of manage it. In next section, this is posts. Now this is very important. I will go over a better interface to kind of find all of these beautiful metrics that you will need later on, but this is kind of an overview of your posts, how they've been doing, how many people they've been reached, all that kind of fun stuff. And these are the kind of numbers that you would need when it comes to looking at where's my progress in regards to achieving my SMART goal. So you can search by the post ID or caption if you have a team member who needs to look at a previous campaign. You can also set a timeline here. So if you're trying to see all the posts you've done since the start, today, yesterday, the time sets are here. Or if you're feeling another way, you can also set up the dates this way. I went the other way. So you can go from like, what did I have in May of 2019 to May 31st, 2019 and update it. That way you can kind of see where you're going from there. And I'll show you what, in my opinion, a better interface of it after in Insights. Now under ads, this is where ads will kind of pop up. For some reason, these are not. Oh, because yeah. So if you have any live ads running right now, they'll pop up here. But because when we don't have any ads running that are live, they aren't showing up, and that's where you can kind of get them. In terms of Insights, this is kind of where you get all your nitty-gritty to get all your results. And I know this can be a bit overwhelming at first, seeing all these bars and all these numbers. But these are kind of the things that you kind of go through in terms of just understanding where and how you're doing. So I'm actually going to show you the Insights that I use. It's not in Business Suite. I use the one that's on your business page. So if you go back to the business page here and you go, these are all your options. And as you can see, some of these options here are also very similar to the ones you see in Suite. The one that we're going to look at is Insights. I'm thinking that it load. So this is where we can look at Insights. So this is your page summary over the last 7 days. So it tells you all of your actions on page. So your actions on page is really what your button is. The button that I had just gone over, like the contact, the book now appointment, that is your main call to action. That is what you want every single person going onto your page to do. Okay. So the call to action can be a purchase, can be a click, book an appointment. As you can see, these are all the page likes, your post reach, all that kind of stuff it'll tell you. Primarily what you want to look at as well is this section here. Okay, so this section here lays out all of your posts that you've done in a certain amount of time, and it outlines what is your reach, what is your engagement, do you want to promote it. I find this interface a lot easier to digest as opposed to the Business Suite one, just because it goes by the date here. You can see a thumbnail of your posts. The type, is it an image? Is it a video? Where is it targeted to? So share the public. It'll show if you're posting ads, where it's targeted towards, and your reach. Now, the biggest thing I want you to see is this. Our reach organically is minimal if you're just doing it organically. So organically means if you're just posting it and hoping that, and using your SEO and using your algorithms, Facebook presents your content towards people out for free. So you notice the difference between organic and when you boost the ads, right? We're in the thousands here when you boost the ads, and the engagement is a lot higher as well. And that's the power of putting money into Facebook ads, putting money into Instagram ads. You're getting a lot more engagement. You're getting a lot more people through call to action. You're kind of funneling down that process when you're spending it. One thing as well is, depending on the KPIs you've set for your business, you can change what you want to see. So right now I have it set to post clicks, reach, or an organic paid. The legend here is yellow or orange, yellowish orange. And then you have the post clicks here, blue, and then you have the reactions and comments under purple. So that's why there's two sets of numbers here. The blue, that's 480 for this one, is the post clicks, and 3 is the reactions, comments, and shares. You can change this based on your preference to, I want to see reactions, comments, and shares. So this is where you're breaking down your actual engagements. Are people liking it more? Are people sharing it more, commenting more? This is where you kind of see it. If you want to see, report to spam, post hides, unlikes of pages, this is actually really important, because if you're posting something that might be, to some people in perception is very controversial, and you start seeing a decline in following and engagement, you can see where it started. And as you can see, it's we don't have anything here, which is really good, meaning that people who are following us are not having an issue with our content. But that's a really good way of indicating if you're having any content that needs to be changed in your strategy. The final thing to look at as well is engagement rate. So engagement rate is something I'll go over. It's a formula of how many engagements you have over a number of followers in total. And then that's a percentage. You can do the math, or Facebook's very nice. It presents you that information here. And again, I'll go over an average as to what would be a good baseline for you to start off on. Okay, so this is insights.
So I just want to jump in, Anthony. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
So I think like you can see there where we did a small Facebook campaign. We'd gotten some grant money from Facebook. That's kind of COVID relief from Facebook, and we had to use it basically over Christmas and New Year's. And so not a lot of people are obviously traveling, and we've done most of our work in the travel industry, but you can definitely see the impact that paid advertising has on Facebook, right? And so one of the things that's amazing is this digital transformation grant that a lot of the businesses have applied for. I mean, this is something that they can take their $2,500 and just dump it into something like Facebook or Google AdWords and really just kind of crush their clientele and their target market and really see returns on their social media. And I think that's something that I know a number of businesses are taking advantage of, but it's definitely such a huge bonus to have $2,500 from Digital Main Street to be able to apply to something like this. Yes, it certainly should be used for other things if you need them, like your website, but like this is just an amazing opportunity to be able to take X amount of dollars and really push out something on your website. And hopefully, you know, they'll be doing Digital Transformation Grant 3.0 come summer, fall, and, you know, people will be able to take advantage of that again and just kind of do the same thing.
For sure. Jason's right. And also as well, in webinar 4, we'll be going through a walkthrough of how to post and promote your ad. But for right now, if you guys take your time at any time, just go back to your business page and kind of go over these options, and you'll be surprised to see how informative Facebook can really be. But if you're wanting to, you know, get ahead, you can start promoting your ads here by promoting it, or you can select the post you want to boost. So if you started today, you wanted to post a picture right now, it would appear on top here to publish, and you'd boost the post and go through the process. But we'll go through that in webinar 4 because it's a bit lengthy and it gets a bit content heavy there. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, so with Instagram tutorial, because it's on my phone, I just decided to screen record it. So we'll just kind of go over it, and I'll pause the video as I go to describe kind of the interface of Instagram. Now, Instagram also has a phone interface and a computer interface, but from my experience, people primarily use Instagram on their phone, which is why we're using it in that medium. So as you can see, this is kind of like winged whale. I'll kind of full screen it. There we go. So this is kind of Winged Whale's interface. I'm going to go back to the beginning. There we go. So this is your Winged Whale's business account on Instagram. Primarily, as you can see, we have our name on it, the logo, and then as well as what we do, where we're based in, and then the content info. Now, the one thing I want to stress, and Jason, myself, and Jeremy, we've done a significant amount of SWOT DDPs with you guys, and a lot of SWOT analysis for a lot of businesses in Brampton, as well as for other contracts. And one of the things that we really want to point out is that Instagram only allows for one URL link. So what that means is on Facebook, you can post as many links as you want. Of course, you don't want to be spamming it because otherwise Facebook will flag it as spam. But with Instagram, it's a definitive line where you can only have one URL in your bio. Any other links that you put in your posts, like if you were to post something on your Instagram and added a link to the caption, that link will not work. That link is dead. You can't click the link and it'll send you to the page. And actually, Instagram will flag that as spam, and it'll reduce your reach and your impressions. So the name of the game here is don't add URL links to your posts. You want to add one to your bio here. Now, there are a lot of times if you're running a promotion, You also want to, and you, for whatever reason, you want your clients to be given the option of, hey, like I want you to choose, like if I'm funneling clients and they're generic clients who are just exploring my page for the first time, I want them to see my homepage, but I also want to target my existing customer base that's following me on my socials to see my promotion. One of the things you can do is use a software called Linktree, which I'll be going over tomorrow, next week, where you can actually, they provide you a URL. That's one URL here. And when you click it, it provides you an interface of creating your own additional URL links. So you can have a section here where it says homepage, promotions, blogs. I'll go more of it in detail next week, but that's just something to keep in mind. Okay. So as you can see, this is the bio again. Oh, I just kind of messed it up here. Give me a second. Next one. There we go. So over here is what happened here is I clicked the edit profile, and this is where you kind of change any information that you want. So make sure you have all of this stuff filled out. So your name, your username, the website, and your bio. One good SEO tactic here is if you see how we created all these emojis here, that's relevant to what the context is. That's actually really good when it comes to readability. Because if you imagine, if you put your finger like over your screen and blocked out those emojis right now, those words creating content for global brands based in Toronto, info, check us out, it would look so bland. It would look really weird and like not as readable versus now there's more color, it's more vibrant. Those are just little things you should keep in mind. So this is where, like I said, you can change it through your phone. You can also change it through your PC as well. Highlights. So if you see here, highlights are basically records of stories that are memorable. So here's where if you had a really, if a celebrity walked into your store, or if you saw something that was really game changing or something you really want people to see for more than just the 24 hours that your store exists, or you want them to see it longer than your posts are up on the top left, you can add them to highlights. So to make a new highlight, all you have to do is click new, and it'll provide you with a selection of highlights that you want to choose from. So this is the highlight that we have so far. We've selected one story. We've named it highlights. You can edit the cover. The cover of the highlight can be an existing story in this section, or it can be a photo of your own. So here, as you can see, you can move the cover photo to adjust as you go. You can also go to stories, and these are the existing stories that we have in file. You can add all of these stories as you see fit, but that's kind of where you select them. Now, another a good thing of SEO that you should really think about is most of our businesses have a brand color. So for us, it's the blue. One of the biggest things that you can do, and that we're actually working towards right now on our end, is streamlining that color throughout your social as much as possible. This has the same effect as you adding emojis to the bio. It increases readability. Everything looks a lot more streamlined. So what I mean by adding colors to your content is essentially meaning for this shade of blue, we want to be adding that as a cover image for each highlight. We want to be adding that kind of blue into any background of the colors that we see here. So already you're seeing, if you notice our latest post here, we're already kind of implementing that with having the blue shade under DS, right? And these are just some things that you want to add into and think about as you're proceeding through. I keep doing that. I keep hitting spacebar. I apologize, guys. These are just one of the things that you want to really think through when you're actually posting new content using more original content. So as you go through the video, like I said before, that's where your highlights were. To make a story now, I'm just going to go back there real quick. As you go to your homepage, you see your story, you click that or tap your finger, and it'll bring you to your camera. And this is where you kind of have your camera set up. And then from there, you can either click it for a picture or press and hold for a video. I just took a picture of my room. Now, what happened to that there? There we go. So in this interface here, you can see all of the options that you can add, all the interactive features you can add to your Instagram. Okay. So here's a really, really important thing that I really want to stress. Social is all about interaction, right? You want to interact with your users as much as your users are interacting with you. These features here allow you to do so. So if you want to add a location to be more interactive, you can. If you want to tag someone, that's perfect. Adding GIFs to give it more of a flash is also very good. Music as well, if you want to add some jazz to it. Larissa, I know when we were talking, I've noticed a lot of your stories have music. With not poking at you, but I'm just saying, every time I see this logo now, I think about Fresh Organic Small Bar now. But with polls, questions, and countdown, these 5 here I've used to really good effect, right? Because when you're interacting with people, this builds trust, it builds credibility, and it humanizes your brand. Now, humanizing your brand is very important because it makes people know that you're also a person. You're not a corporate can't pronounce that word, corporation. Mm-hmm. That you're trying to, it's faceless, right? You want to give that poll, questions, countdown, quiz, just to see the feedback, right? It's another way of getting feedback from your clients. So these are just some things to keep in mind. So location, it kind of tracks your location, or you can type it in yourself. For asking a question here, this is really nice. You can ask, I said, how is your day? How's everyone's day? And then from here, people, when they see the story, they can actually click and drag, holding the tap and drag the emoji to where it is, and you can kind of see, oh, I'm happy, or I'm not so happy. And then you can kind of move it around, you can kind of shrink it, you can kind of turn it around. I don't suggest leaving it on an angle. And then if you want, you can scroll down and kind of cancel it by clicking and dragging it on the trash button. This is like your end date. So if you're having like your store's grand reopening, or a new section of your store is opening, or you have a certain event that's happening, set the dates, set the countdown, and it adds more interactive features for Instagram. Right, and it counts down. So what you see right there, it counts down. It's what's going to happen when people see your story. And again, you can just click and see, you see that trash can right there in the bottom. That's where you kind of just pull it down and it disappears. And then another one you use here is your quiz. You say which one is better, and then you can choose as several options. So if you want to put, and people choose it, and you'll see what everyone chooses, and you can see what people vote at. Just a very neat way of being more interactive. And then finally, we have ask a question, which is a very yes or no question. You can also change the yes and no here to be other things. So for a client I had, do you guys use I had a client before in the past who, I didn't expect to work as well as I thought it would, but she was a, what was it? I think she was a a single mom making like handbags, and she was very certain that people were on Facebook. And I told her, I said it on both Facebook and Instagram, and she changed the options of, are you guys, which social media are you guys on more? Facebook, Instagram, and everyone just kind of interacted with it, commented. It was really funny. But you can change those options from just yes or no. That's just something to keep in mind as well. Okay. One other feature I want to show you guys as well is the Boomerang feature, which is, if I can go to the next slide, this one. So this one, you go to your story, okay? And then I know this is late at night, but you see that boomerang section here, and then you basically click boomerang, and it pops up with that little infinity symbol. Now it's gonna look really weird at first, but I'll break it down how it works. When you tap it, it flashes, and notice how it kind of gets that little like a boomerang, goes up and down, up and down. So what that does there is when you select it, you have a 3-second duration where you want to turn the phone to capture what you want to capture, and the boomerang will kind of show those two things back and forth in sequence. And just another neat trick you can use to kind of add more features to and add more spice to your social strategy. There are a lot more features on Instagram stories that I go on for an hour. But those are primarily the things to get you started. So that now you know there's features that are available. You can keep scrolling down and you can keep finding them from there. Okay. Let's see the next one. So insights. So insights on Facebook, Instagram, sorry, are a bit different. So as you can see here, you can see the reach. You can see on what days people are most interacting with. We have content on one side, which will outline, your posts and your audience. Audience is really interesting. I don't think I have the screenshot here, unfortunately, but audience is where it actually outlines, it tells you the amount of accounts that are male or versus female who interact with you, as well as their age group and location. So it definitively tells you, based on your actions and interactions on Instagram, what your subjective target market is on this platform. You can see as well the number of profile visits and the number of website clicks. So for us, our call to action was the website URL. That single bio URL link that we had was website clicks. So in February of last year, we had 22 website clicks in 6 days, which is really good, because that means 22 people out of the 1,000 people who came onto our profile, 22 of them clicked. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but in reality, like your engagement rates, you have to get through massive numbers, and that's how you go about doing that. Before I continue on to LinkedIn, are there any questions about Instagram before we move forward? Awesome.
Well, Anthony, I have a quick question. It's Susie here. When you're measuring your insights, can you go back 2 years or 3 years? So if you've got to, just to see how you're doing year to year?
So with Facebook, yes.
Okay.
Instagram, no. You can only go up to the last 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah. There's an option for 7 days and 30 days.
Right.
But afterwards, the data is lost. Now, to circumvent that, that's why we're showing you guys Hootsuite next week, which is basically a social media management platform, which is for posting. But as well, once you've hooked up your socials to Hootsuite and you start posting through them, they'll keep your metrics for a life. The last time I checked, for 8 years. It's much longer than that, but I one time went through clicking as long as I could, how far, and now it does a lifetime option. So it starts from the moment you set up Hootsuite all the way until that present day. So that's one way of circumventing that.
Okay.
Okay, good question. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? Awesome. So with LinkedIn, okay, can I? There we go. So your LinkedIn profile, this is where you kind of go through making your LinkedIn page. This is, again, primarily for a BTB. You'll have to hook up your personal LinkedIn account to this. You don't have to, like before with Facebook, but primarily, again, it's just easier. Because Facebook, you can juggle it with LinkedIn. I haven't heard of anyone that's tried it because it's just easier to make it too. So here you can see where my pages I manage. So we're going to go winged whale. So here's your business page, but the admin view. Okay. Very neat thing about LinkedIn is, as well as they allow you to see view as member. So it says view as member. It basically means what are people seeing that aren't admin. So right now, if I go to view as member, minus this blue bar, what I'm seeing here is what anyone else that's not in Windmill Media would be seeing. Okay, and the biggest things I want you to draw on is notice the visit website. That's your biggest call to action. You have more options here. The About Us page that kind of goes over the overview, your website, your phone number, industry, company size, all that kind of fun stuff. This stuff, you really want to input all of this kind of information when you first set it up to help LinkedIn kind of pinpoint where you want to target your audience. Under specialties, notice how we have all these words here. Now, this is mainly for SEO and for LinkedIn to kind of check this is what we're looking at, this is what we do, so that it knows that to show people with similar interests, right? That's how it kind of connects people together, and that's how we kind of go from there. Okay, so we're going to go back to home, and we're going to go back to views admin. So in this interface, there are a lot of neat features that can come with it. Obviously, you can start a post here where you can add a photo, a video, a document, or even a poll. Again, a poll is another interactive way of kind of pushing through of what you want to interact with your users. Your hashtags here, these are the hashtags that you want to show, where if you want people to trend with it, you can. This is where you want it to start. Right now, we're trying a new tactic where we're trying to make our hashtags really niche, so that while we post, we add these hashtags to it to see if we gain any traction. That's a specific case that we're trying. Primarily, you want to be having one niche hashtag and then two generic ones. So if I were to edit, and you'll see, if I'm going to remove, let's say, Winged Whale Media for now, and add a hashtag. Let's say I want a generic one. Let's say I'm going to add hashtag marketing. It's going to tell, and you click it, it's going to, you add it, you can save it. It's going to tell you how many followers there are under that hashtag. So there's 20,383,140 followers. That's something to keep in mind and having that balance so that you're able to track and see how many people, what hashtag you should be using when inputting it into your posts. If you want to have events, you can show all your events here. So for example, webinars we can show here. If you have upcoming events, like if we're going to a trade show, we set up here. These are some things that you can add to just kind of keep your users and your followers in the loop. The number of followers you have are shown up here. And then your last 30-day analytics can be shown up here in a gist, right? So this is just like your overview, your 4 main points of what you will want to see on screen. This is what you kind of can check on. If you want to go in more detail, you go to the top bar here, analytics. The drop-down bar appears where you can see visitors, updates, or followers. So if you want information on your followers, you can see, okay, how many new followers have I gotten over the last few days? I've gotten 2 new followers on January 4th, and you see who are all my followers. This is a neat thing as well. It provides you with a demographic. So a lot of our followers are primarily in the Toronto area, and some companies to track. This is a really interesting kind of feature where I said before in last week's webinar is you really want to focus on what your competitors are doing in the sense that you want to see what's worked for them and what's not working for them. Because if something is working for them, you might want to try to adapt it in an innovative way to your business to see if the same results. And the hardest thing is maybe, you know 1 or 2 competitors, but here we have all of ours ready to go right here. LinkedIn kind of does it based on this similarities, based on specialties that we had laid out earlier in the bio of LinkedIn. And this is how it has pulls together. So that is followers. When you go to visitors, visitors are people who aren't following you, who are just seeing your profile page. Now it kind of shows you where most of your users are, right? The blue is to outline desktop, the orange to outline mobile. So you're seeing, if you want to basically, if you notice, for example, right here, it's pretty much even with a slight lean on mobile. For whatever reason, maybe you're checking analytics and you're noticing that the majority of your users are coming from mobile. You might want to switch over LinkedIn to a mobile phone and see how your profile looks on the phone and really stress your contents and your captions and your pictures to kind of see how streamlined it is on your mobile. There usually is no change when it comes to desktop versus mobile, but I've seen instances where the resolution changes for some odd reason. That comes from the back end of the extension of the file, or you're uploading incorrectly. Just some things to be mindful about when you're checking these things out. Another neat thing about LinkedIn.
Amber,
Yep.
did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. My question is more related to, I guess, LinkedIn overall. So we're B2C. And my question is, do you think we should have a LinkedIn page even though we're B2C? Does it make sense? How important is it, I guess, with that kind of business model?
If you don't mind me asking, what is your business again? Can you give a quick description?
Oh yeah, no, sorry.
Business?
So we're actually fairly new to Brampton. We just opened. We're the Pottery, and we're actually in a fairly, I guess, unique industry. Let's say for the 19 plus, the cannabis just getting allowed, I guess, or approved to sell. So we're really struggling with awareness of being open because we're not the lottery winner that had the media on them, and we're not a big franchise behind it. We're kind of like the first mom and pop shop, as I air quote that, to figure out how to get this done.
Right. So LinkedIn can be helpful. Like I said before, it doesn't hurt to set up a LinkedIn account. But when it comes to really focusing on people, it depends on your strategy, right? So are you looking to connect with other people in the same kind of industry, of cannabis industry as you? You could use LinkedIn to surgically find these people. So what I've done before, I haven't personally worked in the cannabis industry, but I've worked in the direct mail marketing industry, for example. So what I had to do, for example, was I had to find the CEO of our competitor to backtrack to see where they're at. So what I did for Facebook is I saw the company name, right? Then when I found the company name, I went on LinkedIn and typed in the company name and found the actual person because their job title was CEO of XYZ. So you can use LinkedIn to leverage certain kind of tactics when you want to reach out to certain people and connect to the right people. But when it comes to reaching out to consumers, I think LinkedIn is not the most ideal. I would say Facebook and Instagram would be the main focus. You really want to push your name out there, and if you're saying that if you're having some difficulty getting your name out there, using the Great Money to boost your ad, an ad that kind of outlines, this is who we are, and this is the employee, or have an employee spotlight, or just giving a post that says, this is who we are, this is what we're about, and then having that ad shown to a lot of people just through sheer numbers. That's how you get your word of mouth increased. This is how you get your number of people come to see your website and have a higher call to action. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. I think
Okay.
it gives me good guidance. I think with us, the struggle then is just the ads itself and the content that's able, because we try to do Instagram and Facebook, but all of them gets rejected.
Rejected because of what? Does it say what though?
The illegal. I guess they think of it as the illegal content because there's either the marijuana leaf on there, or our name is not really friendly, I guess.
Right.
I guess to Instagram because it says pot.
So what you could do is you can definitely go on to the guidelines and actually contact Facebook rep, because as we know, Canada, marijuana is legal here, but in the States it's not. In certain states it's not, right? Which is why there might be a discrepancy. So I know a friend of mine, his mom is helping out with California weed nuns. It sounds weird, but I remember that specific term. But they also had an issue with that, right? Where they're trying to get themselves into Canada at first, and this is back when Canada hadn't fully legalized it, and they were trying to post on social and their articles, and it wouldn't go through. And how they resolved it was they actually contacted Facebook support, and they were like, "Listen, this is my business. It's completely legal and legitimate, and I'm trying to get my word of mouth." And then talk to them, and it's usually either a text to chat kind of interaction, more than a call.
Okay.
So you're able to kind of really orientate yourself there. So try that. If that doesn't work, I can give myself or Jason a call, and we'll go do a deeper dive into it, because it might be just certain words that get flagged, right?
Okay.
Like airsoft thing, like airsoft, which is like plastic BBs. A lot of people can't post ads about airsoft guns because it's guns. Right, but they're paintballs, and that's just some of the gray areas which Facebook just sees. Oh, gun flag, get out. Right, you might just fall in that gray area. We'll work with that.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great question. Yeah, no worries. Any other questions? Awesome. So under analytics, the biggest one is updates that we're going to go over. Under updates, you can see your impressions that you've reached over certain days. And under update engagement, this is where you kind of see all of your posts. So update on LinkedIn means posts. Okay, so here you can see the last 7 days. I'm going to put the screen down more. Last 7 days, last 15, 30, 12, 6, etc., etc. You can move your dates further back if you want, manually, right? Or you can do it here where you input it, like I want to see 2012 if I wanted 2012. But for us, our sake, we'll see the last 6 months. Actually, I'll do the last year. So from here, you can see our last post from this section here. So here it says created, how many impressions, video views, if it's a video, how many clicks. CTR is click-through rate, which refers to how many people have clicked on the ad or clicked on the link or clicked on the button that you've associated it with. Okay, so this is where you kind of see your posts and you can kind of go from there. So you see Guatemala Experience 360, it was posted by who, right? Which team member, when it was created, how many impressions, the clicks, click-through rate, the reactions, the comments, the shares, the follows. There are more things here, right? And your engagement rate. So these engagement rates are the things you really want to pull away from because LinkedIn's engagement rate is namely one of the more important KPIs and metrics to look out for. And then you record this later on, and I'll show you how to kind of compile all this information. So we're going to go back to here. So averages. So I know this seems a bit intimidating, but we'll kind of go through it together. Essentially, we've color coded all of the information based on color. So Facebook is blue, Instagram is red, green is LinkedIn, and blue is Twitter. Essentially, these are the benchmarks of average engagement rates and organic reach, conversion rates, and this should not be organic reach. This is in the wrong section here, but these three are the variables that are kind of going through it. So these things are just a benchmark based on industry. All right, these can change based on your industry, but this is like if you have no idea where your numbers should start, this is where you start off on. So take a look at it. This is all in your toolkit. The best place to post, again, same thing, industry. It can be different by industry, but this is your benchmark. If you have nowhere else no kind of point of reference, this is where you go off of. Okay, so my advice for you is if you have no idea where to start with posting, you start with these benchmarks, and then you just change it within an appropriate way. So maybe instead of Wednesday at noon, I'm going to do it Friday at 4 o'clock. I'm going to do it Monday at 1 p.m. And then you kind of balance. Okay, this month I posted Wednesdays. I had this engagement. This month I posted Fridays. I have higher engagement. Oh, so now I know for my business, my industry, Friday is better. And you kind of, funnel down your access from there. And again, all this stuff is available on the toolkit. Reporting metrics. So you kind of want your metrics here. It's monthly reporting. So you kind of have it where it's you want to make one of these for each social platform you have. So this is Facebook, monthly reporting, January 2021. Your KPIs are the ones that you want to have laid out here. So your followers, your engagement rate, your impressions, your total engagements, and traffic to site or your call to action. So this is what's really important. This is how you kind of track over month what's your progress to reaching your SMART goal. So what you do is every month you go into your Facebook, you collect information based on the insights, you input it here, and then after 6 months, after 3 months, you're seeing those numbers change. If you see, why is my engagement rate getting lower over the next few months? That's a red flag that you want to kind of see, okay, what did I do right in January, and what do I need to kind of bring into for April that I'm not doing in February and March? So for engagement rate, you can calculate yourself or use total reactions over total followers times 100. And then for traffic to site, you can get it through various ways of detection. So UTM tracking, which for people who are a bit more tech savvy, essentially is you adding a bit of code to the extension of a URL. And then you can kind of track exactly where your users visiting your website come from Facebook or Instagram, or even from a newsletter. Okay. So in terms of resources, again, the toolkit guide's available on the link that you were was on the email that got you to this webinar. And in that toolkit, we have all these wonderful kind of options to help you out with, and take a read on it or look at what you need to look at. Again, Google Reps. So if this is the first webinar you're tuning in on, additional help is we actually have a Google Rep contact, Jared, who's able to help create your first YouTube or Google ad campaign and adapt your campaign to your budget and give valuable tips to help the business. But the benchmark is you need to be spending at least $13 a day on Google Ads, which is $3.90 a month. Okay, his contact info is here. If you need it as well, you can jot it down now, or you can ask myself or Susie for that information. VIA support, again, Jason and I are here for you guys. So if you have any questions about this webinar or about specific to your business, email us at info@windmillmedia, or you can call and text us at these numbers here respectfully. And additionally, we have a new one where if you're looking for any further government benefits, we encourage you to go to the site here. And essentially, this is the kind of URL, the UI that comes up. And I'm just going to go over it. I know we're running a bit of time here, but I think this is just really important to kind of help you guys out because, I mean, you guys got access to this grant, and this is a wonderful way of finding additional grants to help your business. So essentially, this page here, you said it says here, I'm looking for what kind of support. So you click the drop down, support due to COVID, other government support, all government. You go all governments. For support due to COVID-19, I need, what do you need? Let's say I need a grant, or I need to keep my employees paid, or I need to defer waves of my taxes and payments. You can choose as many as you'd like, right? So as many as you'd like, and once you're done, hit OK. And for other support, I need funding. I need expert advice, right? Whatever you need, you hit OK. I've secured whatever percent. Ideally, you want to put 50% at least if you have that, because it says here 50% or more if we get better results. So we'll say 51%. And I'm looking for at least $2,500 and up to unlimited. My main goal is to, what do you want to do? So you can select whatever you want to do. So you want to do buy or lease equipment. I want to grow and expand a business. I want to hire and train. Okay, got it. Now tell us about your company. So we're in what field? So now, what location? So we're in Ontario, and specifically in the business of, in the southern eastern region, and in the business of, and this is where you kind of check out where you are, like what kind of business you're in. So for our sales, we're in retail and wholesale. How many employees you have? So we'll say we have 10 employees. We are incorporated and for profit, and we're looking for programs that support businesses owned by Canadians. And you can kind of check out whatever it is. So let's say I'm Canadian and I'm a youth. So, okay.
So wow, under 40, it's still youth. All right.
Well, yeah, apparently. So then your result is here. You can kind of change it as you need to over here. And you see all those COVID-19 supports that you have here. So you have the emergency wage subsidy plan. You can click here and enroll. You have funding, 25 results for all this stuff here. Advice, expertise, 30 results, tax credit results, and there's just so much you can go off of. So I really encourage you guys to take time and just input the information specific to your business, check it out, see what you can find, and it might find more money, more grants and more funding to help you guys out, right, during COVID. So next webinar will be about social media management, which is where okay, we've gone over Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Now I'm posting. How do I go about posting rather than, spending 6 hours creating it and then posting it manually over 3 platforms? We'll provide you with programs to really streamline your initiatives, as well as best practices next week. So as in regards to A/B testing, all that kind of fun stuff. Are there any other questions for this webinar? I know it's a lot of stuff to digest this week. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys learned something. I know it was very content heavy, but yeah.
I just wanted to say this was really, really informative webinar, and I wanted to thank you guys for walking us through this morning's digital workshop. And I really liked that slide on your KPIs, and wondered if we can go into more detail in the next week with regards to setting those KPIs and doing some benchmarks. So I guess the biggest question is, you're always wondering, how well is my business doing in what I'm doing? And there's highs and lows, and we're definitely going through some challenging times. But I know for us at the BIA, we always are looking at those numbers, but it's really sometimes hard to honestly assess the numbers, because there's so many. So just wanted to wrap up today and say thank you. And does anybody else have any questions for Jason and Anthony?
I do. Sorry, Emert again.
Yeah.
I just have a quick question. Is
Yep.
the session going to be sent out afterwards? I just missed that piece on your Instagram about keeping the color consistent. I find with my page right now, I'm the one behind it, and I'm trying to keep font strategy, but I've missed a couple on my posts. I think are a little inconsistent. Let's say.
This one. Yeah, so what I mean by consistency is, so essentially from our example here, right? The shade of blue, this is our company logo, right? You have a certain color of your logo. You want to basically streamline across your highlights where you have certain creatives done with the same background. So it streamlines the highlight. So you have that same kind of background in your highlights, and you have that same kind of blue that's in your company as on your posts. It really gives that kind of everything streamlined vibe that really helps authenticate and really helps. It's just more readable, right?
Okay.
And it's a lot more professional. And that's just something you really want to try going for. The biggest con of that initiative is that it's very, very time consuming, because that means every single online original content you have has to be tweaked, has to be edited slightly, right?
Yeah.
You have to change the contrast and the hue and the color scheme so it slightly orientates towards your business. That's the only con, but it's definitely worth it, because when people see it, it's like beautiful, right? Like Larissa, you brought up to me in our meeting, right? You saw that other person's business. What was it? Or the orange one? I forgot the name. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
but that one, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, and it looked really great, right? And I'll actually provide a screenshot next week's webinar of what I'm talking about, and to show you guys what I mean by streamlining. But that's what it means. Just try to think about incorporating that same kind of color scheme to all your posts and everything you do.
I think in a way you're basically training viewers to pick out your posts in a sea of posts, right? You're training your followers' eyes to look at your posts because they'll recognize that particular color, right? And then they'll say, "Oh, I know this is one of so and so's posts," right? Because they're just they'll recognize the color and then they'll associate it with you. But I mean, by no stretch, Aaron, should you beat yourself up over not being able to hold that strategy 100% of the time, right? You know.
Thank you. I've become real familiar with Canva lately.
Yeah, Canva's that's one of the programs we're going to go over as well, and we're going to help you guys out with. But yes, Canva's a really free version of doing that. If you're very tech savvy, I've used Lightroom, which is very surgical, and Photoshop to really kind of touch up those points. But Canva will get the job done. And to be completely honest, I've only seen businesses who do that when they have they have one person that's dedicated strictly to internal social affairs, right? That's when they're creating the content. The graphic designer does that as well. Like that's primarily when people do that. So don't if you're a one-man army, don't stress out about that. I'm just saying in an ideal world, if you had all the time and money in the world, that's what you want. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. No. Thank you for the question. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you guys.
Okay, we are good. So again, thank you guys.